YouTube video. Today we take a look at another film review. Today we take a look at the first Purge. Yesterday we did take a look at the Purge, and now we're taking a look at the first Purge. And I'm going to be honest, this movie was like 1,000 times better than the first one. This one had a lot more going for it, had a lot more interest, had a lot more plot twists and turns, and just more excitement and overall rooting for the characters and like wanting them to survive. I was like gunning for the characters, I was wanting them, I was like cheering for them, like ready for them to sort of win, and I wanted them to win. It was quite upsetting when certain things happened in this movie. So of course there is going to be spoilers for this movie, and you know, stuff is going to go down. So if you don't want to like have any spoilers for the Purge, or if you don't want to like hear about like murder or dangerous scenarios, fighting, and gang violence, you know, cut off the video now. But the Purge date, you know, the first Purge, it is an action horror. I'm going to be honest, it's not a horror, it's a thriller. So that mark is wrong. Like, none of the Purges are like horror movies, they are action thrillers. And it is 1 hour and 39 minutes, and it came out in 2018. It has a 5.2 out of 10 on IMDb and a 56% on Rotten Tomatoes. So Rotten Tomatoes and like, you know, IMDb, they don't like Purge movies, but neither do I, to be fair. You can watch this on Netflix, Now TV, Amazon Prime, or Google Play. And it starts with the new founding fathers of America decide to test a psychological theory and allow everyone within Staten Island to vent out their aggression for 12 hours, but things get unexpectedly out of control. Well, unexpectedly out of control when you understand what was actually happening. So there's three main characters to this movie. One is called D, there is a girl, and there is a guy. And they all know each other. D and the girl are like boyfriend-girlfriend, which have broken up. And D is like a massive sort of crime boss. He's like a drug dealer, an arms dealer, and he has people on street corners selling drugs. And one of those guys is the dude that I mentioned earlier. I don't remember his name, but D did not want him working for him, but he started working for him anyway, because like obviously D doesn't know everyone in his organization and people are allowed to hire more people. And I think that's a very bad business practice. If you don't know your guys, that's not good. You should know your guys. You should know your guys, so then you know what the fuck is happening in your business, and you should know like people who's fucking stealing from you. Like, holy shit, you know your business, dog. And he gets his neck cut by this dude called Skeletor, and he then, you know, decides to join the Purge for, you know, to get revenge on Skeletor. He tells his sister, which is the girlfriend, that he's leaving Staten Island, but he's not. And the girl is sort of gathering everyone up into a church to try and keep them safe with two armed guards outside. And the government give everyone on Staten Island these sort of like lenses, these eye sort of things, these contacts, which are very like cybernetic and make your eyes glow blue, green, orange, gold, or red, or purple, depending on who you are, or like what type of lenses you were given. I don't know why there was so many different color options, but the way they were putting them in and taking them out throughout the movie was fucking stressing me out. They were just like gripping at their eyes, they were just pulling at them, like yanking them out, just half-handedly putting them in, and I don't like stuff near eyes, so that was fucking creepy as shit. I hated that, it made me so uncomfortable. And then obviously he went to kill Skeletor. He managed to get to a couple of like street parties and, you know, Purge parties, block parties, and Skeletor started tearing shit up, killing people in these block parties, and people were running away screaming, but the government didn't like that Skeletor was the only one actually killing people and proper purging in their eyes. So the government sent the army in disguised as gangs and hitmen and mercenaries in to Staten Island disguised as gangs to, you know, cause a little bit more chaos, to sort of show the people that the Purge does work. And so they completely set up the Purge to sort of eradicate like poor people and like the lower class like income, like the lower income class, just so that they didn't have to like spend so much money to try and help them and try and get them out of this like poverty that they're in. And you know, The guy gets scared of Skeletor, runs away and calls his sister asking for help, so his sister leaves the church and goes to save him. They then go back to the church after encountering a guy with a piss gun and a gang on motorbikes. That gang shoots up the church, and there's 2 survivors from that church. So they go back to her apartment after getting chased by like knockoff Texas Chainsaw Massacre men, and they hide in her apartment, and her best mate arrives, and it's like, holy shit, like, where have you been? They then barricade the door under Dee's orders, and Dee is sort of discovering that something's fishy going on, that these gangs that are sort of appearing out of nowhere aren't actual gangs of the government, so he gets all his guys to like get ready to fight them. They go save an old folks home because he's like best buds with these 3 guys in the old folks home, and then he goes to save his sort of girlfriend and her little brother, but they get shot by these government drones, and he's the only one to survive, so he goes through this building like fucking action man. He goes through like Rambo and like the Terminator. Holy shit, he went through and he threw fucking heads. He was taking on like the army all by himself, and he was fucking badass. He was a menace. He managed to go all the way through it and got shot because of the girlfriend. He got shot because of the girlfriend. The girlfriend got him shot, and that's fucking wild to me. That is wild. Like, he managed to do all this on his own, and then the girlfriend is like, no, I'm doing this with you, I love you. And she gets him shot. Within like the first 10 seconds, she gets him shot. And, they blow up C4, destroy the army, destroy half the building, and the purge ends. So he managed to save a load of people. The government actually throw in some of their like agents who work out that they're causing like all this chaos in the purge by throwing them into Staten Island themselves, and obviously they get shot and murdered there, and I think that's fucking vile. That is such a corrupt government, and for this to be the first purge is again absolutely insane with the amount of shit that goes down. Like, the army goes in and causes chaos. I don't get why the army would agree to this, or like why soldiers would agree to want to do this, because it's like the army goes in as well as like mercenaries and sort of hitmen. I get the mercenaries and hitmen, they'll do anything for money. They'll kill whoever for money, and going in and just killing whoever they want for free money. It's easy money. It's easy money. So I could understand them going in, but the army as well. Why the army going in? Surely that's morally wrong, and like the army shouldn't want to do that, right? I would not feel safe with like an army that will willingly go into a purge and just kill for the sake of killing. The block parties did look quite fun. They were all wearing pretty cool masks, and that's why the purge masks actually start, because some people were just dressing up for the purge parties, and then the government were sending sort of mercenaries and stuff in, but like keeping their masks on to sort of, hide their identities, so the world didn't know that it was the army, that it was mercenaries, didn't know anything like that. It was just people for all they knew, because they had the masks on. And the news places were talking about it like, oh, they're putting masks on to sort of hide their identity, because they sort of feel shame for what they're doing, or that they're taking celebration and turning it into like a national holiday, like taking pride in what they're doing by sort of making it fun and exciting and giving themselves, masks and commemorative sort of items. There is a lot of fucking chaos that goes on. Like, Skeletor murders so many fucking people, and he's way too excited about it. He's way too giddy, way too intense. And to be fair, I was rooting for these guys the entire time. I knew for a fact that the dude wasn't gonna kill Skeletor. He was nowhere near gonna kill Skeletor. That was like 100% a fact. But this movie didn't do any of the normal sort of horror movie tropes. It didn't have any of the sort of jump scares. It didn't have any of the sort of camera angles, like the show don't tell. It didn't give like the viewers anything that the sort of characters didn't know. It just felt like a normal action thriller movie, and there was just a lot of fighting, a lot of blood, a lot of gore, and it was basically just a load of action, a load of fighting, and there wasn't really much horror to it. I didn't feel scared watching this one. I felt excited, and I felt sort of, like on edge, hoping that they'd survive. I felt worried for their safety, but not in like a scared way, in a way like it was, oh, are they going to survive or they're not going to survive? Who's going to die next? Sort of thing. So I don't think it works as a horror movie, but I think it works for like a Purge movie. So I am going to give it like a 6 out of 10. I wouldn't watch it again, like,